Hello people, long time no video. How are you guys going? I'm Addict. Welcome back to my channel for a very random video that was not really planned, but I figured I'd record it and release it anyway. So welcome back to Hansen River. For those of you who watched the Hansen River series, this is actually in that neighborhood. I am currently building a restaurant that I have been wanting to build for so long. One of my Sims, Kenneth Stanton, has aged up to an adult and it has been his lifelong dream to open the first official restaurant in Hansen River. We do have like another lot that is like an entertainment bar and grill lot, but it's not actually a full-fledged functioning restaurant. And my young Kenneth Stanton has always had a passion for cooking and for food and for cuisine, and this has honestly been his dream for a very long time. He recently, as I said, had a birthday, and he had a chat to his parents, who are luckily for him very wealthy. His father is a business tycoon and has been top of the business career for quite some time, and his mother owns and runs a very successful car dealership, so the family is pretty loaded. So he had a chat to his family and was like, Mom, Dad, I know how you bought my sisters a house to move out into. You remember that? Yeah. Well, I don't so much want a house as a restaurant. Do you think you could, help me out with a bit of cash to start a restaurant? And of course his parents were more than supportive, so they have loaned him. My goal was that they were going to loan him about 20,000 simoleons. That was kind of my budget for this restaurant. So it's by no means is it like excuse me, by no means is this restaurant super fancy. It's not massive. It's actually quite small, quite cozy. Yeah, and it's definitely not, top of the line, but I wanted something relatively small and manageable, as a rank 0, rank 1 business. You don't want anything too big anyway. And yeah, so my goal was to spend about 20,000 simoleons, and it was pretty good actually for a budget. I ended up mostly achieving it. Those of you who watch my streams and have watched my channel for a while might know that I sometimes struggle to stick to a budget, both in The Sims and in real life, but this one I came in at about 21,000 simoleons, so you know what, I'm gonna call that a win. I'm gonna say I did pretty good, and yeah, be happy with 20,000 simoleons. Apologies for my coughing. I have been very sick recently. I put up a community post on my community page a couple of days ago, just to let you know like where I've been and everything. I have been really sick. We had a really horrible chest RSV infection go through our family, and while my son got over it within a couple of days to a week, my husband and I are still coughing and are still a little bit sort of just mucused up. And I also have, as I did in my first pregnancy, I also have really bad reflux, which gives me a cough. But anyway, back to the build. If I cough, I apologize, I can't help it. So yeah, I wanted a cute little restaurant. I was determined that we were going to use those cute little window awning pieces that you can use in The Sims 2. They're in build mode, and I always forget to use them, but they're really cute, so I really wanted to use them in this build. And then we went with a color theme of a lot of green, because green has been Kenneth's favorite color since he was a wee lad, so lots of green. And then yeah, out the front here we just did a couple of small window boxes with some flowers, just using the platform tool, and yeah, some move objects on magic. So I thought the front of the lot looked cute. I thought it looked fairly welcoming. It needs a little more detailing. I'd like to put like a standing menu out the front as well, and kind of like a welcome in sign, and lots of other different things. We definitely need to get a banner, like a big sign to go on the front of the restaurant that says, Ken's. By the way, the name of this restaurant is Ken's. Very original, I know. I am so bad with naming lots. But I was inspired, of course, by Gilmore Girls, which is one of my favorite shows, and Luke's Diner is just literally called Luke's. And I was trying to come up with some fancy name, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to call it Ken's. It's Ken's restaurant. But a lot of the restaurants around Adelaide and around like South Australia are literally kind of just named like after the people who founded them. Like it'll be like Lucio's for an Italian restaurant or something like that. So that was kind of my inspiration there. And the cuisine at this restaurant is kind of just relatively high-end food. Ken is a pretty good cook. I think when I first set up the restaurant, he was about level 6 or 7 at his cooking skill, and then after playing it for a couple of days, he was already up to level 7 or 8. So we do have quite a nice array of food that the Sims can come in and purchase. So it's not low budget. It is meant to be a relatively nice boutique-y restaurant kind of vibe. I don't know. This little area over here is the kitchen. I wanted it to be an open kitchen so that the guests can sort of see their food being prepared in there. And I went with this really fun wall tile and some Sims 4 to 2 flooring, which looks really, really nice. It is a little squeezy, and I did end up having to use some walk-through blocks for a couple of the objects in this kitchen just to make sure that the Sims could route around the kitchen relatively easily. But we've got the chef stove, we've got a nice big sink, we've got a couple of fridges, and we've got a couple of sort of island counters. I think I end up going with kitchen basic island counters just in the middle there, where I pretend in my head that the Sims do their food prep, because of course prep is a big thing in real kitchens, but not so much in Sims kitchens, but that's okay. So yeah, those 2 counters end up going on walkthrough blocks after my first playtest. So yeah, the kitchen does work. It is, and I deleted one of the counters. It is a little squeezy, but it does work. And then yeah, we have a functioning driveway here, so Kenneth can drive to work and not have to so he can have somewhere to park his car, is what I was trying to say. Sorry, words are hard. So here I am just adding a little bit of seating as well for if you've called the taxi and you're waiting for the taxi to come pick you up. Skittles, do you mind not sneezing? Sorry for the sneezing in the background, that is my dog. Yeah, and then we move on to furnishing more of the interior. So I wanted to put in a bar section. Oh, and full disclosure, sorry, I should have mentioned this right at the start. For the interior of this restaurant, like the layout and sort of where things are and the seating and everything like that, I had Googled an image of a small restaurant layout. So I looked through a couple of different Google image results and picked one. So yeah, this area here is a little bar area, and I thought it looked really cool and really cute. It's not, I don't have an employee working here yet who actually runs the bar, but down the line that'll definitely be someone that we hire. Of course it is The Sims 2 and it is a restaurant, so even with all my fabulous mods to make restaurants be actually profitable, the less employees the better, until you've ranked up a few ranks and you can put your prices up. So there is a bar area here with no employee right now to run the bar, but that is okay. But yeah, I use this really nice Bayside set that Veronica converted. I believe it's from The Sims 3 originally. And so yeah, there's a nice little bar area there. That is a custom restaurant podium, that cash register there. I can't remember who made that, maybe Hodgkiss, maybe not. And then we just put a little bit of bar deco behind that area. But yeah, like restaurants in The Sims 2, notoriously difficult to run and make a profit. Those of us who have played a lot of Open for Business and tried to run restaurants will know. This one, it's not doing too badly. So I made a whole video about, like Open for Business mods and tips and tricks and stuff that you can watch here on my channel if you're interested. But basically, if you use the lower wages mod by EpiSims, that is super duper key for having profitable restaurants. So with that one and only a couple of employees, and obviously the chef is my sim, we have actually managed to turn a very small profit after a couple game days. So here's where I start sort of trying to fiddle with the chairs and table layout. And again, I was working off an inspiration image where they had sort of booth seating along the wall and then some round tables and then another single chair on the other side of the round table. And I was looking at this image and I'm like, oh my God, how the heck am I going to make that work? Because I would need to have either a 2-tile table that looked like a 1-tile table and then a useless seat on one side, or I would have to have a 1-tile table and then a useless booth seat, which shouldn't do anything. So what I end up doing for this build, and we will see it in the second section of this video where I do a first person camera walkthrough of the lot, is I actually make myself a custom object, which is a purely decorative booth seat. It doesn't actually function as a seat, it's just a decorative sculpture. And I pinched a mesh that just got released on Tumblr the other day from Simsco. It's a Sims 4 to 2 conversion. Made it into a completely decorative chair. And then I put a hidden chair, like a hidden booth chair, in the center of where those booths are. So 2 Sims can sit at those tables, one on either side, and it looks like they're sitting on the booth seat, but they're not sitting on the booth seat. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone, but it's a thing that I did. Was it going to more effort than I really needed to go to? You know what, maybe, but I don't know, I thought it was kind of fun. But I also really loved, there's some extra tables and chairs that I put in which have some really like cozy comfy armchairs with them as well, so it's overall should be a very comfortable dining experience to eat at Ken's. And then we also have this beautiful huge outdoor eating area, and I use a mixture of a couple different custom content tables and chairs here. The tables are by the from the Torok set, which is available on Mod The Sims, and the picnic bench chairs, I can't remember who they're by, but they're quite nice, and that all works together. And it's always a good idea to have a mixture of smaller and larger tables at your restaurants, because some Sims, if you only have small tables, Sims will come in and complain because they want to have a larger table. They're like, no, we need more space to eat our dinner, give us a larger table. So that's a thing. So yeah, lots of room outside the restaurant for larger groups of people who want to come to Ken's for dinner, like bigger families and bigger groups of friends and everything. And then this section here on the original inspiration image that I was looking at was just sort of some comfy casual seating with like some couches and stuff, but the scale of what I was building versus the inspiration image, it didn't quite work, so I decided to just go ahead and add some extra functional restaurant tables instead to this little area undercover here, so there's a little bit more space for people to sit and eat, and I figured that would be fine. I did a little bit of decorating out here with some ivy, but definitely when the restaurant makes a little bit more money, I will come back through here and add some more artwork, some more hanging plants, pot plants, and make it a really nice inviting green space to be in. Now I wanted to have a roof over this area as well, because of course you don't want to sit outside in the winter or in a rainstorm and not have any sort of shelter over your head, but of course I forgot that you can't put floor tiles right on the edge of the lot on a second story, so I had to think a little bit outside the box, and I found these awesome skylight custom content pieces that I had, like glass roof custom content pieces, in my downloads folder, and I was like, perfect. So the Sims should not get rained on when they sit outside. So here we are, just adding a little bit more sort of decoration, a few little functional mod items, things like that. As I said, I didn't go too heavy on clutter because at this point I was starting to get quite conscious of the budget. I think we were already probably up to or over the 20,000 mark, so wanted to be a little bit conscious of that. We do just have a very small decorative break area out the back here for the employees. Not that my employees tend to really get breaks, but it's there and it looks kind of fun. The one area that I did put a little bit of detail, I put a nice picture up on the wall just over here over these seats, and then the rest of the restaurant doesn't have any artwork excuse me, any artwork really at all. So yeah, I was looking through some extra bits and pieces here. I've got a little collection of restaurant deco, so I put in some of that, and then we're just about done with the speed build portion of this video, so in a minute we will jump into a first person sort of walkthrough tour and take a look at the restaurant functioning. So here's the restaurant functioning, and you can kind of see there just on the side there, the booth chairs, the decorative booth chairs that I made. So as I said, those don't actually function as chairs, but they look like they do, and that's the main thing. And then there's a hidden chair in the middle, so those tables do work. But yeah, this is the restaurant. I think it turned out really nice. I think it looks quite classy as well as being quite cozy. Looks like a nice place to sit down and have a meal. Here is Kenneth, the man himself, working over his stove, having a great time. He always looks so happy while he's cooking. Which makes me happy too. That guy was upset that he couldn't get into the kitchen, but there's an invisible gate, sorry, blocking you, my dear. And then yeah, this is the sort of outdoor undercover dining area, which I think would also be a really nice place to sit and have a bite to eat. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you are a Patreon supporter of mine, you will in a couple of weeks time see a post come up on Patreon where we walk through this family's round and the restaurant in more detail, so look forward to that. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and to everyone for watching this video. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Take care. Bye for now.